Hi, welcome back to Virtually Sunday. My name's Tony Pickler. Several years ago, I provided a series of presentations at the Norbertine Center for Spirituality entitled American Prophets. The inspiration came from a book by the same title, written by Albert Raboteau. In the book, Raboteau highlighted 7 figures from our U.S. history that he considered to be prophetic, or, as the book's subtitle suggested, people who were considered religious radicals who struggled for social and political justice. Who were these men and women? You're probably familiar with many of their names. Abraham Joshua Heschel, A.J. Muste, Dorothy Day, Howard Thurman, Thomas Merton, Martin Luther King Jr., and Fannie Lou Hamer. All made notable contributions in our country's history, but each and every one of them encountered challenges of acceptance by the very people that they were trying to lead. As Richard Rohr said many times, these 7 prophets lived on the outside of the inside. They didn't totally reject society or its structures, but they certainly were not in the inner circle of power either. They were the epitome of prophets. Our readings for Sunday help us to see God's prophets and the challenges of filling this role. In the first reading, Ezekiel is called by God to serve as a prophet, to deliver a challenging message to a difficult people. The Israelites had rejected God, and God wanted a message to be delivered to draw the people back into right relationship with God. Ezekiel had a difficult job description, that's for sure. In the second reading, St. Paul has faced a difficult challenge. He has encountered a thorn in the flesh. 3 times he asked God to relieve him of this challenge, but to no avail. He finally realizes that it is in this suffering and facing the weakness head on that he will be made strong. In many ways, Paul was a prophet who helped people in their relationship with God, but who also faced many challenges. Finally, in the gospel, we have Jesus, who returns to his hometown of Nazareth. There, the people can't quite figure him out. Isn't this the carpenter's son? Didn't he sit in the same synagogue school with them? Wasn't he the kid who struck out in the bottom of the 9th to lose the baseball game? How could he be anything special? In fact, the people gave him the ultimate derogatory comment of the time. He is called Mary's son instead of Joseph's son. That would have been the ultimate diss of Jesus' time, not to refer to the supposed father. So Jesus speaks that famous line, "No prophet is accepted in his hometown," and he shakes the dust from his sandals and he moves on. What about us? Who are the prophets in our own time? Are we ourselves called to be prophetic? Consider that we celebrate our nation's birthday on Sunday, July 4th, fireworks, cookouts, family gatherings. But what are we celebrating? Almost 250 years ago, our founding fathers and mothers had these prophetic words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In speaking these words, these courageous and prophetic men and women were creating the United States of America. Then, nearly 100 years later, Abraham Lincoln, in providing a prophetic vision for this nation which was divided into 2 by differing views of slavery, said these words, 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all people are created equal. It's rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead should not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. This prophetic man was dedicating a battlefield at Gettysburg, but he was calling us to much more than that in becoming a unified republic once again. And here we are today, a nation divided into Democrats, Republicans, red states and blue states, vaccinated and unvaccinated, so much division. This isn't exactly what those founding fathers and mothers envisioned, it seems. Now is the time for prophecy. Now is the time for prophetic stances, to call us back to the roots of unity which this country was founded on. and to call us back to the unity that we as people of faith believe in as children of God. Are you a prophet? Am I? We need to be. We might not be popular for calling for this unity, and we certainly won't get here by powering over people and nations. Not if Jesus' vision is the one we are following. Remember that foot washing example? And those statements like the first will be last and the last will be first, and we are called to serve, not to be served. That's a prophetic vision. Now is the time. Let's get prophetic. God bless you, and happy 4th of July.